Show, Bossman Radio Network. We have a special guest for you. Former Titans assistant coach, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He's with Titans Radio now, provide great analysis each week, 145 The Zone, Titans Radio. Coach David McGinnis. Coach Mac, how's life this week, man, after that comeback we saw on Saturday?
Yeah, it is so good. You know, I've been in this league for 32 years, and there's nothing like playoff time in the National Football League, and there's really nothing like being able to be in the final 8 in the National Football League's playoffs. So when you're in the tournament and you're one of the final 8 teams playing, I mean, life is good, brother. Life is good.
You get that right, Coach Mac. Coach Mac, I'll switch off the air to this. I really enjoy your analysis here on Titans Radio because, Coach Mac, I play football myself, and I'm learning from on radio. I've learned about the four-man spacings, how the receivers are. Coach Mac, you have opened my eyes. I play football. So I'm going to tell you, Coach Mac, I thank you for your analysis. You're giving me insight that I didn't know about the game of football that I played for so many years, Coach.
Well, JR, that's very, very kind of you to say that, and I appreciate that. And the one thing that I've been really, really blown away with this year is, you know, when I came in here to do that, is the number of people that, first of all, listen to the game, and then the very positive feedback, you know, from people just like yourself. And again, as I said, when I first started this, I had never really planned to do this. And when this was offered to me, I said, absolutely, I'll do it. And you know, I'm not a real smart dude, but I've been involved in over 600 NFL games. And so when I had a chance to do this, I mean, it's been so much fun. And so that kind of feedback from someone like you that played the game, that knows the game, that means a lot to me. I appreciate that, brother.
You're very welcome, Coach. I tell you, man, John tell you, I've kind of blew John's head away with stuff I talk about. But I say, Coach Mack is on the level that I knew about, you know, and I played ball for a bunch of years. So I tell you what, Coach Mack, I've never used the words four-man race until I listened to you, Coach. I knew about it, but I never used the way you use it, Coach.
Well, anything that I say, you're welcome to use, because I promise you, I didn't invent any of it. I stole it from somebody. So after 32 years in the league, I've never invented anything. Everything that I have, I stole from somebody. So you're welcome to it, brother.
Hey, Coach, it was funny to me that my little brother asked me, what's an inside zone? So let me show you here. Let me draw it up and show you what he's talking about.
There you go. No,
absolutely.
Yeah, and you know what? And once you can explain it to people, and where they can, and the thing that I enjoy doing, as I say, you know, I've been involved in the National Football League as a coach over half my adult life, and the thing that I've always enjoyed doing is being able to explain the game to people, and not explain down to them, but just talk about what's happening. And it's really gratifying to hear how much people do appreciate, you know, just trying to learn the nuances of the game without getting too technical, and still being able to present a picture to them that is entertaining, but is at the same time informative. And that's, you know, that's what this is all about. And of course, you know, they say, well, it sounds like you're really enjoying it, Coach Mack. You know why it sounds like that? Because I am.
You got that right, Coach Mack. I tell you what, I feel your energy through the speakers. You know, Coach Mack, I would hit somebody when I hear you go to the radio, Coach. I'm telling you, I'm an offense. I'm a receiver. But I want to go hit somebody. Because you get me fired up, man.
Don't go
hitting my language.
Don't go hitting anybody and blaming me on the radio, man. Don't go hitting anybody. Just sit there and get ready to play.
I hear you, Coach. I hear you, man. We Coach David McGinnis here on the Bossman Show. Now, Coach, when the team was down 21-3 at halftime, Coach, what do you feel was the key factor for the Titans to come out in the second half? Some key moments to make sure to get that win in Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, make the Chiefs' kingdom go home with sad faces?
You know, JR, it came down to a real grit and resolve by this entire football team. And when you get into situations like that, as I said, I've been involved in over 600 NFL games, and I just know that you could tell the resolve that the whole team had, and plus the belief in what they were doing. And they knew that they had done some things in the first half that had not been conducive to them having success. And even when Kansas City scored right before half to make it 21-3, I mean, the body language of the Titans going into the locker room, you could tell that they still had a very firm resolve that we can do better than this, and then the adjustments that they made at halftime, both offensively and defensively, and that's a huge credit to these coaches and these players. And then they just came out and started running the football and started doing the things that they knew that they could do. And then the defensive adjustments that Beckler and his defensive staff and those defensive players made was outstanding. And in a very hostile environment, in a playoff atmosphere, they never wavered. I mean, they never took a step back. They always kept pressing forward, and you could just sense the belief in what they were doing. And then, of course, Marcus Mariota, and then Derrick Henry. I mean, those two guys just put the whole thing on their back, and you could see that their play uplifted everybody else, and the defense was balling out. That second half, and so it was a real culmination, and it was really a great complimentary football team win by all three phases in that second half. And it was a great feeling at the end of that ball game to know that you'd accomplished something that important.
Now, Coach, it also seemed like the game changed when the Titans were able to get the Chiefs off their script a bit. And as a defensive coach, how do you go about preparing to deal with the West Coast offense that scripts that first 15 plays?
Well, their offense is a little bit now of a hybrid, of the pure West Coast, and then also the spread offense. Because as much as the zone read has come into the professional game, and they're very creative, they've got very explosive players on their team offensively, and so Andy Reid and Nagy have been very, very creative with the way they were getting the ball to the playmakers. They always knew, and especially, coming off of their first 15 scripted, they are going to do things. They're going to try to take advantage of personnel groups, of different personnel groups and different alignments to see how you adjust to it. They're always going to try to bust you early. And if you can weather that first storm, which really, basically, the Titans were searching for a while until they finally got a bead on exactly what they were trying to do. But once they were able to do that offense that is, as I said, the hybrid between the West Coast and the spread, once you kind of get an idea of the way they are trying to attack you, then you can start to counterpunch with some of your calls and what you want to do. And the biggest key to me for the Titans defense in the second half of that game, guys, was that they were able to stop the run, and they were able to make that offense one-dimensional. And once you make an offense one-dimensional, as to whereas the defense, you're not constantly in run-pass conflict every down, then you've got a real chance.
You got that right, Coach. And I also thought Travis Kelce going out, too, because Rock Kelce, he gets very ordinary. He makes them dynamic. You can still run the jet sweeps with Tyreek Hill, still run the combination with Albert Wilson, but Kelce makes some special, kind of like how Gronk does with the Patriots. So the Titans, for me, Coach Mack, seeing Kelce for a half has to help Dick LeBeau prepare for Gronk and Brady this week coming up there in Foxborough.
Well, no, absolutely. And you're 100% right, because anytime you've got a tight end, especially nowadays in the National Football League, as much as the spread game has forced defenses to widen their anchor points horizontally, you've got a lot of space in the middle of the football field. And that's why you see guys like Gronkowski, like Kelce, like Delaney Walker here be so successful, because those are mismatches that you can use in the middle of the football field. And then if you've got that coupled with some other playmakers on your offense, that way you stretch a defense not only horizontally, but you stretch them vertically too. And so once Kelce went out, then Dick LeBeau and his defensive calls, he was able to concentrate some of those calls into other places. And as I said, that aided them in making them one-dimensional, the Chiefs offensively. And it was a huge, huge half for the Titans defense. But Kelce being out of there was a big part of that.
We have Coach Dave McGinnis here in the Bossman Show from Titans Radio. He's got a lot of insight on the game of football, as he told you earlier. Now, Coach, also, Marcus Mariota. I tell you what, Coach, I feel like this is going to turn his career around. This stretch right here he's had playing the second half against the Rams, Jacksonville, and this game with the Chiefs. He has confidence that he can bring his team back. He's making all the plays in the world to save his team, and he's he's showing his growth, Coach. He's calling his own plays in that spread set that Coach Trubisky gives him. So, Coach just said, if you're in league years in the league, Coach, seeing a guy like Marcus Mariota grow, what do you think his ceiling is now going through this playoff season against New England and on and beyond now, seeing what he's done these last few weeks here for the Titans?
Well, I think you're absolutely right in the fact that, especially these last 2 weeks, when he basically just, the play made at the end of the Jacksonville game, as to where he put the okey doke move on Calais Campbell out there, and then put the stiff arm on Church to make the first down, and then this last ball game, some of the plays he made, he was like a magician. The ball that Revis batted back to him, that he was athletic enough to catch and stretch and touch the pylon. And then that last play to Henry that sealed the game, basically, where he, not only had the zone read working outside, but then got in front to block the linebacker. Those are types of things that not only ignite your offense, they ignite your whole football team. When you have a quarterback that is willing to lay it on the line from start to finish, like Marcus Mariota has done, and you have got a guy that people will unfailingly follow. just because of his leadership ability, but also because, I mean, you know, Marcus is very quiet. He's not a big talker, but he is a guy that they know how competitive he is and how much he lays it on the line. And so to me, it means everything. And you talk about quarterback growth. I mean, you know, you can talk about moments in time in this league. I've been fortunate enough to be involved with some great players in my 30 years in National Football League. I think you're like Terry, or when I was on Bears with Walter, and think back when I had Keith Bullock here. And there are moments in time in big games where those types of players step up and do something that solidifies not only what they are doing personally, but it also solidifies the trust and the belief that their teammate and an organization has in them. And you've seen that out of Marcus Mariota, especially these last 2 weeks.
Now, Coach LeBeau rallied his troops, and the Titans were down 14-0, and they played pretty much as usual for ball and out the rest of the game. Does that experience and overall connection with the guys mean to the Titans?
No, that issue. You get to the one thing you can't factor in this league, either as a player or a coach, is experience. And as I said, most NFL buildings that I go into nowadays, after 32 years being in the league, I'm kind of the senior member in the room, and I've got a lot of skins on the wall. But when I walk into Dick LeBeau's meeting room, I feel like a freshman, because this guy has been around so long and has done so many things, is an icon in this league. The players implicitly trust him because they know that all he has is their best interest in mind, and that he is going to put them in the best situation that he can for them to be successful. And then if the original plan is not working, he's one of the best in-game adjustment coaches in the National Football League. So all of that stuff just lend yourself, again, once players believe, they'll do anything they can to follow you and to make it happen.
Now, Coach, looking forward to the next matchup for Titans, the Patriots are going to be tough. As you look at that, what do you feel the keys for the Titans are going to be to be able to leave Foxborough with the win?
Well, first of all, I mean, you're playing, probably the premier franchise in the league as far as, clearly it's evidence with the Super Bowl trophies, but the number of playoff games. And, of course, to me, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, that combination is the best in modern day. You see in the era of salary cap. And, I mean, you just can't say enough. Those who have done it, all just the entire, organization is up there in Foxborough. I mean, it's the standard bearer in our league right now. And so to get a chance to go up there and to compete against the best, and especially to be in the final eight with that, I mean, you're going to have to deal with Tom Brady, because he's a master at being able to adjust very quickly on the run to what's going on. They've got, Gronkowski, of course. Gronk is one of the best players in the league at his position, hands down. They've also got everybody that goes in there, guys, and you know how they do a great job of not only drafting players, but getting players in free agency, or even getting, veterans towards the end of their career to come in there and even excel even more than they can within their system. You're going to have to beat an entire system there. And so to me, you got to have a firm belief in what you are doing. But, the keys are the same as they are in a lot of games. You've got to be able to convert third downs with you offensively. You've got to be able to get them out on third downs, not give Tom Brady enough extended series to take shots at you. And then the other thing that you have to be able to do, I mean, turnovers in playoff games are huge. And playoff games, because with 8 players playing now, I mean, 8 teams playing now, you got the best 8 teams left out of 32 in the league right now. So turnovers are a huge part. So you've got to be able to go with your game plan, and then you've got to limit all the unforced errors that you have in the ball game, not give your opponent anything. And then when you got a chance to take advantage of something, whether it's either offensively, defensively, or on teams, you have to do it, especially during playoff time.
Now, Coach Mack, preparation-wise, Coach, I think that the Titans have some of what Kansas City has. They beat them in Week 1 with Tyron Taylor using him a little bit in that role. They had used Tyreek Hill, kind of using Corey Davis. So would you look at that first game of the season's tape against New England when KC beat them at home and try to, of course, some of those plays this week, install them, hopefully, that we can use some of those same concepts against them this week and beat them with it again?
Well, I mean, again, every game takes on its own entity, and the league, they're 16 game season and a 17-week stretch. There's edge flows. Teams change. Teams evolve. And so what you really need to do, and of course, once you get into the playoffs, you break down every game. You look and see what's going on. You look at what's good for you. You look at what has been not good for you. You look at why you've been successful. You look at what has been successful against your opponent. You try to see how your personnel matchups work. All of that stuff, figures in. But at the same time, you still got to be able to make it concise and make it real, because you've only got so many days to practice. But at the same time, what you have to know, you have to have a firm base in the things that you do just as your base fundamentally where you are right now. Because, there you will be a playoff game, and you're going to borrow from what you see in some, but still you've got to be true to yourself as to what has gotten you there and made you one of the final 8 teams in this tournament.
Well, Coach, man, I'm looking forward to 2:30. I'm hoping that the Falcons get that job done in Philadelphia. You guys get the job done in New England, and I'm praying that this will happen. We have a Falcons-Titans Super Bowl in Minnesota. That'll make my day. That'll make my year right there, Coach Mack. I would enjoy that.
Well, yeah. As I said, you got all the numbers from the board right now. So you know what? for your wish to come true, that makes Coach Mack real happy too.
Yes, indeed. With Coach Mack, I'm going to tell you, in our studio right now, Coach Mack, everybody here is attentive. I mean, never I see my research guys here, they're like, never listen to interviews. They just phones. They're really into listening to you, Coach Mack. You're the man. You got my attention for us.
Well, you know what? Tell them thank you very much. I wish my players would have paid as much attention to me during my 32 years of coaching. I might have done a hell of a lot better job.
Hey, you're doing a damn good job there, Coach, and we appreciate your time today. Coach, we got to do it again real soon. This has been so fun. Like I said, Coach Mack, you're the man. I had to get you on the show, man. I enjoy what you do. You've been on a blast for me to listen to all year long, Coach.
Thanks, guys. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. See you.
You're welcome. There begins on the Bossman Show, people.
Bless.
What's in that bag, boy?
A gorgeous tan from Suntan City gives you an inner glow that relights the fire when you run into your first crush.
Vicky, who was that?
An old boyfriend.
Lucky you just tanned at Suntan City.
Lucky he's single. We're doing lunch tomorrow.
Won't be single for long then.
During Tour of the City, try all 5 tans, including spray tan, for just $4.99. Restrictions may apply. Click to buy now.
Suntan City, let yourself shine.
Folks, we're back here on the Bossman Show, Bossman Radio Network, and we're joined by a friend of the show, a good buddy of mine, Kyle Schwartz. He's the Assistant Commissioner for Strategic Communications for the OVC. That's a long title to say that man's an important man going up there in Nashville. How you doing there, Kyle?
Good, JR. Thanks. The title, it's more impressive than what I actually do, but the sound is very impressive. That's why I picked.
Very important. Yes, like this guy's for strategic communications. My man is strategic with communications. I love it. Love it to death. I tell you what, Kyle, I'm gonna say, folks, new listeners, Kyle Schwartz is the man got the OVC, man. He's the point man. Does a great job with the OVC tournament, media days. He's a great dude. I tell you, he works very hard. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, but I want to put him on the show because he's a good friend of mine and he gives great information. John will even verify that. They're right, John.
Always the best from Kyle. Whenever Kyle comes on, we get it straight from the horse's mouth about what's going on around the OVC.
Yes, indeed. So, Kyle, you're a very important man around here, brother. I hope you know it, man.
Well, I appreciate it. We like spreading the word about the OVC all throughout all the markets your show airs in. And, I can sort of compare the OVC sometimes to you may have gone – some people go to an OVC school, but then they root for the bigger SEC school in their market. So we know those fans are out there. We just want to relate to them. Say, hey, it's okay if you root for your SEC school, but remember where you went to school at too. So sometimes we have to pull people back in a little bit.
Yes, indeed. And, Kyle, don't talk about OVC, especially with Jacksonville State being 94 miles from Atlanta. A lot of the Georgia and Auburn and Alabama rejects go to Jacksonville State. But they go to Jacksonville State. They go there because they can play at a high level at FCS school, and a lot of them go to the NFL from the FCS school, Jacksonville State. Each of them know as well with Jimmy Garoppolo. So for the league, Kyle, when you have guys like Jimmy Garoppolo, guys from Jacksonville State, Roger Cromartie, Anthony Levine, who go to the NFL, how does that help you guys in the league force in promoting the brand, promoting what you guys do as a conference?
Yeah, when you talk FCS football, and a lot of people might still refer to it as the old 1AA, we have players I was just looking at the list right now. 8 players at the end of the year that are on active rosters. A couple in the playoffs. The Steelers punter, Jordan Berry, went to Eastern Kentucky. Kame Grugier Hill is with the Philadelphia Eagles. He went to Eastern Illinois. So those are 2 players who are competing at the highest level. You mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo. I will have to say a personal favorite of my own. One of the favorite people I've gotten to work with. So somebody who, he set the bench. He's won some NFL Super Bowl titles with the Patriots. Now he gets to go out to San Francisco, be a starter. He really made an impact in the year. So every broadcast, they're saying Eastern Illinois. Maybe they say OVC, but they're talking FCS football. It's publicity you can't buy. You can't get a TV ad on those national broadcasts or wherever. So having somebody go to the next level and succeed, it really helps us. And we might cover basketball in a little bit. We have 6 guys in the NBA right now. That is unheard of in OVC history. So we're doing things here on the college level, and we're sending people to the pros, which is a great thing.
Well, Cal, speaking of some of the success that OVC players have when they take it to the next level, towards the end of the year with the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo had a pretty nice run with them towards the end. Were you guys in the league office kind of excited to see that, as it's helpful to promote the brand? Yes, but it's also one of your former players and student athletes having success on the next level.
Oh, for sure. And we, he was the Walter Payton winner, the FCS Player of the Year his last year, and we got to go to the awards ceremony and spend some time with him, meet his parents, who are like the nicest people that you can imagine. So to go from being a backup where people sort of knew his name, like they knew what he could do, to really get out there and play, it's just exciting. It's almost the same thing as if one of our student athletes graduates, they go to medical school and they become a doctor. That's what we want to do. We want them to go into their field and succeed and be the best possible person they can be. Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody on those level, it's just obviously more people know about him. So anytime an OVC student athlete can reach their dreams and what they want to do, it's exciting here. And most of them don't do it in professional sports, but for the ones that do make it, we get a little bit extra excited for them.
Hosted joined by Kyle Schwartz from the OVC, breaking down OVC conference, the players and who they have, and NFL, all that gets success with OVC. I'm an OVC grad myself, so OVC is very partial to my heart. Now, Kyle, who are the 6 guys in the NBA that is playing in the league right now for our listeners who may not know those names?
Yeah, and when I first started, we got one player in the league, and everybody would get excited. And our coaches have really done a good job, recruiting for a while. Kenneth Fareed, Moorhead State All-American. He's with the Nuggets. His 7th year in the NBA. The Manimal, as he's been known. He signed a big $50 million extension a couple of years ago. So he's been a force for 5, 7, 8, 9 years with the Nuggets. Your alma mater, Tennessee State, Robert Covington. He signed a $61 million extension not that long ago with the 76ers. So not that bad to reach your goals and play in the NBA and get that type of money. Ian Clark from Belmont, he was a former OVC Player of the Year. He won a championship with the Golden State Warriors last year. He's with the Hornets this season. Cameron Payne, he's hurt. He went to Murray State. He was OVC Player of the Year. He's with the Bulls, but sitting out. Isaiah Cannon, also Murray State, also an All-American, also the OVC Player of the Year. He's just signed with the Phoenix Suns for the first time this year. And then the 6th is Antonio Cleveland. He went to Southeast Missouri State, which is where I went to graduate school, actually. And he's with the Dallas Mavericks, although he is hurt right now. So he's on the injured list, and I don't know if he's going to play for the rest of the year. But 6 at one time is the most we've had in my decade here. So great to see some players make it in the NBA, because there's not a lot of roster spots to do that.
You got that right. I forgot about Antonio Cleveland. I thought he played similarly with Golden State, right? Is that correct?
He did play. Correct. He played summer league with them. He just didn't catch on, and then the Mavericks signed him. He played a bunch, and he was playing some good minutes off the bench. And I believe it was a foot injury sometime right before Christmas that got him off the main roster while he's rehabbing.
Gotcha. And speaking of basketball, Kyle, the basketball tournament's moving into Evansville, Indiana. I'm gonna try to make it. I hope to make it. I'm gonna try to make it up there, man. So, what's been the buzz around the conference with the fans, the institutions? See the Evansville, with you guys coming up there, bringing that tournament there, the nice arena up there they have for you guys to play in.
We'll have a seat for you. So whether you make it or not, I'll have the place card, and you'll have a good seat on press row there. So we're excited. And In Nashville, we've been here 23 or 24 years. So anytime you've been in the same place for a long time, you sort of get comfortable, I guess maybe is the way to describe it. So getting to go to a new venue will be exciting, to do some things we've never done before. And if Peep fans, they probably haven't been to the Ford Center, but the Ford Center at Evansville is about 6 years old, state of the art. They have a minor league hockey team that plays there. The Evansville, out of Missouri Valley Conference, the University of Evansville, they play there. Lots of concerts and events at this facility. Jumbo screens, LED boards. It's like a mini professional arena because it only seats about that 11,000 or so, maybe about 10,000 for basketball. So we've heard from the community leaders, and we've had our media day event there. So people are buzzing about it. If you say Indiana, you think basketball, right? So I think people around the city will be excited to hopefully, maybe they're a University of Evansville fan, maybe after they're out of their tournament, they want to come support, or maybe they've moved from somewhere else and they just love basketball. So we're hoping to get that community out to really support the event. But I think it's going to be a major event for that city. And they were looking to host a Division I basketball tournament. They've done some Division II and some other things, but they've never done a Division I. So we're looking forward to having it there this year.
Now, speaking of getting that support out, Kyle, for the fans listening that may be close to Evansville or a fan or a student of an OVC institution, how can they purchase tickets, and what are some of the special events that are going to be associated with the tournament, and what can they expect once they get there?
Or you already set me up there. I should have said that without having to set up. So I appreciate it. OVCsports.com/tickets is everything you need to know, not just to buy tickets, but everything from the games to the events associated with it. But we're going to make it there's some ticket deals that will be out there that not necessarily announced yet, but for families to come to see, because we have 8 men's and 8 women's teams. So we have 2 games in the afternoon and 2 games at night every day, and the championship games on Saturday. So maybe you can't make out the whole thing, but people in Evansville might want to come and just see a couple of the games. So there'll be that opportunity. The ticket is affordable. If you do buy an all-session ticket before February 1st, it's only $60. There cannot be another tournament in the country that has basketball as good as ours, and you've seen that from what we put in, especially in our championship games the last couple of years. $60 gets you into every single game. So I think it's a great value. I think our fans that come every year think it's a great value, and they'll be able to be in the state-of-the-art building. There's things around the arena to do too. It's probably a little easier to park there than it is in Nashville. Just a little bit smaller scale there. Yeah, I know. We know how that is. So maybe easier in and out, and maybe there's a chance to easier get some dinner right before the game across the street. So OVCsports.com/tickets, everything you possibly need to know about this year's event.
Now, Kyle, there's always a big talk around non-conference scheduling and RPIs as March approaches. Just curious for myself and the listening audience, how involved is the conference in aiding the member institutions when it comes to scheduling non-conference games to boost RPI and ensure the conference as a whole has a better schedule to allow more teams to play postseason without having to pay for it, per se, getting the NITs straight in, or get in the tournament with a good RPI, or one of the other CBI, CIT. So how do you guys go about helping the schools make those schedules, make them a little bit better for everybody involved?
Yeah, I actually have the RPI document pull up here. I think you hear other conferences have scheduling parameters or philosophies or guidelines, and you have to schedule between this and that. We don't have that per se. We do annually. Our coaches meet, our athletic directors meet, more regularly, and we talk about the importance of who you play and where you play them, and ultimately if you win is important. I think that the research is out there. People have seen it. If you're going on the road, you're likely not going to win the game. That's just how it balances out. So you kind of got to be smart in, playing like opponents. If you're the teams at the top of the league, and I'm just taking who's at the top of the stands right now: Belmont, Murray State, Austin Peay, Tennessee Tech, Jacksonville State. Those teams, they can go and play a team that's at the top of another mid-major conference. But if you're a team that's at the bottom of the stands right now, those teams probably shouldn't be playing the teams that are at the top of another league. They need to play some of the peer schools in that year. Then when that team improves, they can play different schedules. So we don't per se tell them. We give them advice and sort of have people talk to them on how the RPIs, is affected by your schedule, and then let them make the best decisions. It's not easy though, because if you get to be a good team, let's use Murray State for example. After they had Isaiah Cannon and were ranked in the top 10 nationally, nobody wanted to go play at Murray State, so they had to go and find some teams to play. Now, when Isaiah Cannon left, everybody wanted to play Murray State. That's just the sort of the way it happens. So just keeping them up to date on what they can do and helping them to make the best decisions they can to find those opponents.
I hear that, Kyle. Well, Kyle, I'll tell you what, it helps me out a lot. A lot of listeners ask me these questions, and I can't answer them fully, truthfully, without hearing it from somebody like yourself. So you definitely made our lives easier trying to answer those questions for our fans who ask us that all the time.
And winning, at the end of the day, winning is what's going to help you. If you play a schedule and you win the games, it's going to help your RPI. And at the end of the day, if it comes down to having an at-large team, that might be one of the factors that is the deciding factor on that.
I hear that, man. Well, Kyle, I'll tell you what, brother, it's been a pleasure having you on the show again, my friend, and look forward to seeing you real soon. Hopefully I can get to Evansville and enjoy that tournament with you guys. But if not, I'll be cheering for you guys. Wishing you all the best from afar.
All right, well, guys, I appreciate you giving me some of your time and for your listeners, and it's always a pleasure to be on with you.
Thank you so much, folks. It's Kyle from OVC here on the Bossman Show.
Hello, college basketball fans. This is Donnie Tyndall, former head basketball coach, and we're getting ready to have a top 3 with Tyndall with JR the Bossman and John, myself, as we analyze the college basketball season team by team, break down stats and facts, and give you all the basketball scoop across the country on a weekly basis. We hope you'll join us and look forward to talking hoops with you on the Bossman Show.
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Zuzi on the track.
We're back here on the Bossman Show. We got my man, our Kaufman from JoeBucksFan.com. I just love the name of your site, man. Joe Bucks Fan. Where that name come from, man?
Well, it's like they're trying to appeal to, everybody, the truck driver, the sanitation worker, just Joe Bucks fan. That's the average Bucks fan. And I got to tell you, the average Buck fan, he ain't too happy right now. He ain't too happy. They were 5-11, big expectations, and they fell on their butts. And meanwhile, 3 teams from the NFC South are in the playoffs, and the Bucks are trying to cruise to Cancun right now. Not good. Not good.
How close was Chucky to come back to Tampa? When I saw him, I saw him down there for that night, I thought my man was coming to Tampa. But now he's going back to the Raiders. How close is that deal going down, man?
I think it was close. I'm with you. When they had that Ring of Honor night, and you saw the emotion in his voice when he was saluting ownership. They had mended a lot of fences since he got fired, and I thought he was coming to the Bucks because Cutter was in a lot of trouble, and you guys know Dirk Cutter from his Atlanta days. And anytime you go 5-11, when you have big expectations, you're in trouble. And I thought Gruden was the man. He lives right here in Tampa. He wouldn't even have to move his family. But you know what? And I think you guys realize it. Oakland was going to give this guy whatever he wanted. He's got total power. He's got all the money in the world. And I think the Glazers realized we're not going to get in a bidding war with Oakland. We're probably going to lose. They're going to give him anything he wants. And they bowed out, and they decided, all right, we'll stick with Cutter one more year and see what Cutter's got. But believe me, the Glazers had plenty of interest in bringing John Gruden back to Tampa.
So speaking of
Bucks fight Steve Chucky.
Yeah. Well, speaking about Cutter.
And the fans are disappointed now. Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it's probably a little bit of a disappointment, for the fans as well as ownership, based on the scenario you're speaking about. So, do you feel that obviously Gruden or someone like Gruden would be better suited to lead the Bucks going forward as opposed to just retaining Cutter for this 1 year?
Well, I think from a marketing perspective, guys, it's going to be tough to generate ticket sales around here. They got the number 7 pick in the draft. It's not a very sexy draft unless you draft the Barkley kid at Penn State, the running back. If you don't do that, there's not a lot of star names in free agency. So here comes Cutter for year 3. Now, I'll say this, guys. Out of 32 NFL head coaching jobs, I don't think anybody's going to be on the hot seat more than Dirk Cutter going into the 2018 season. I'm kind of glad they didn't fire him after 2 years because I think that's a terrible habit of firing guys after 2 years. That's not the reputation you want. It doesn't work. You got to keep changing systems, philosophies. But if they could get Gruden, I think they would have done it. Otherwise, I think they made the right call sticking with Cutter, but he's going to have a lot to prove in 2018.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the Browns, maybe Hugh Jackson, if he goes 0-16 again, hopefully he'll get fired this time. So I think Dirk might be number 2 up behind old Hugh.
I was talking to my brother today, and he says, how could a guy that went 1-31 come back for year 3? And I didn't have an answer. I got no answer for that. You know what the answer is? It's the Browns. That's the only thing you can say. It's the Browns. And 1-31, are you kidding me? I mean, at least Cutter won 9 games, his first year as a head coach. He went 9-7. He did something. And one bad year. I don't like getting rid of a coach after one bad year. If it's followed up by another bad year, Cutter's out on the street, gentlemen. Maybe he ends up back in Atlanta as an assistant coach. How do you like that?
Hey, it was good for Matt Ashton. He was hitting the hour. Think about this. Hugh Jackson's won 9 career games. 8 in Oakland, 1 in Cleveland. Dirk won 9 in year 1. So in 1 year, Dirk Cutter has done what Hugh Jackson's done in 3 years. So that tells me Hugh should go, Dirk should go too, but stay 1 more year at least in Tampa Bay.
Absolutely. Hey, and speaking of assistant coaches on the Falcons, my man Raheem Morris has done a whale of a job, and I don't know if he's ever going to get another shot as a head coach. Don't forget, he won 10 games his second year in Tampa. He won 10 games, and they didn't make the playoffs. That's not his fault. He won 10 games with Josh Freeman. Nobody knows how he did it. They were supposed to go 6-10, and he went 10-6. And then at the end, he lost his last 10 games as a Buck coach. 10-game losing streak, so he had to go. But I think he's more mature now. He's done a heck of a job. He switched from defense to offense. Not a lot of coaches do that. Raheem Morris is not to be underestimated, gentlemen. I hope he gets some interviews in the near future.
I love talking to Coach Rob. He's cool. He's cool in the fan. I love him to death. He's a great guy. Our whole staff was pretty much cool dudes, man. I love all our staff members. They're all cool guys to talk to. You're right, Coach Rob needs another chance. He's a young mind. He had a bad situation in Tampa where the Blazers axed him real fast. But hey, give him another shot. Look here, all these other retreads can get jobs. So should Raheem Morris too.
Raheem Morris. You guys have been around him. He's got a tremendous bubbly personality, a lot of charisma. Raheem's got a lot of charisma. Now, I have a story for you guys. You're always in for a nice laugh over here, gentlemen. This is a true story. His second year in Tampa, it was the year he went 10-6. So we're in training camp, and Raheem gets up there, first day of camp, and he's talking about the goals for the year. And he goes, guys, it's a race to 10. It's all about a race to 10. Nobody knew what he was talking about. We said, what does that mean, Coach? And he said, well, I've been doing some research, and if you win 10 games, you're probably going to make the playoffs. So it's all about trying to get a race to 10. Now, I'm sitting in the front row, and I got a little smile on my face. He goes, Kaufman, you got something to say? I said, Raheem, does that count the preseason? Oh, man. He almost fell off the podium. He goes, Ira, you're the only guy in this room that would say something like that. Now, he knew I was trying to put him on, and he started smiling. And he's got a great smile, right? Raheem's got a fantastic smile. And we got along good. I saw him, a couple of years ago at the Georgia Dome before a game. He gave me a big greeting, big hug. very warm individual, and I think he's done a whale of a job in Atlanta. Heck of a job.
So, Ira, can you hit us with some Jameis Winston talk? Do you think that he's the right QB to lead the Bucs as you guys go forward?
Well, it was a rocky year for Winston. He got hurt. Now there's some conjecture he might have got hurt the second game of the year instead of the fourth or fifth game. Played through it. Then he sat out 3 games. By the way, they went 2-1 with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then the guy had like a 2-11 record going to the last game against New Orleans. And look, don't believe anything you read about the Saints not being interested in that game. I mean, they had a division title on the line going into that final game. They needed to win because they didn't know Carolina was going to lose. They didn't know that. So if Carolina won and the Saints lost, Carolina would have won a division. So Winston leads the Bucs back in Week 17 against the Saints, and the Saints got a pretty good defense, much better than they've had in the past. And the guy goes 95 yards in the last 2 minutes and pulls the game out, Winston. So, that spoke a lot about Winston. The guy is an incredible leader, incredible intangibles. Ball security is an issue, gentlemen. It's an issue. Not so much interceptions now, but fumbles. He's become a little prone to fumbles, especially blindside hits from behind. I mean, that's tough. And the one thing, guys, that you may not be aware of is he's facing a possible suspension because there was an incident in Arizona a year and a half ago, and he was in an Uber, and the Uber driver filed a complaint against Winston and says he groped her. He groped her. And she said he was the only passenger, and Winston says there were 3 guys in the car. And the NFL's investigating. Who knows how long this thing's going to take? I dare say, gentlemen, if the 3 of us were leading this investigation, we'd wrap it up in about 2 weeks. That's it. Instead, they're going to take 6 months. I don't know why these things take so long, but if he's, if he's found guilty as charged, basically, he could get suspended for 6 games. And so nobody in the Bucs knows exactly what's going to happen. That could be another reason why Gruden didn't come to Tampa. You don't know if you're going to have this guy for 6 games. And he's got some growing up to do. He had a tantrum on the field against the Saints in New Orleans. Him and Lattimore got after it. And he's got some maturity issues. But I haven't lost faith in Jameis Winston. I think he's going to be very good.
I'm with you on that, Ira. I want to ask you about this roster. Last question I got for you on my end is this, Ira. As we're heading the offseason for the Bucs, what are the areas that Dirk Cutter and the front office must improve for this team to be more competitive in the NFC South next year?
One area towers above all others. Now, they got holes to fill, no question. And you guys know Brent Grimes. He's a heck of a football player. Even though, 35 years old, he hasn't lost much. And they don't know if he's coming back. He could.
Quick question.
Yeah,
is his wife a problem like she was in Atlanta? Does she
was not. She was not.
Okay, good deal.
I know she was an issue in Atlanta, and we were concerned, but for 2 years, she's been pretty happy with the way the Bucs treat her husband. She doesn't say anything about Cutter. She doesn't say anything about Winston. And Grimes has been a heck of a player, and now he could be a free agent. So they don't know if he's getting him back. But having said that, the one area of major concern, especially in a division with Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, and Drew Brees, they have no pass rush. When the Falcons didn't have a pass before Beasley came around, they weren't any good either. And Mike Smith ended up out the door. And now Atlanta's defense is pretty decent. And by the way, I think Deion Jones, that guy's tremendous. I love that Deion Jones. I voted for him on the All-Pro team. He's one of my 3 linebackers. I think that guy is very, very underrated. But anyway, the Bucs got no pass rush at defensive end. They got no help from McCoy. McCoy's been there for 8-9 years by himself. No help. Double teamed every game. The fans are on McCoy's back because he's not Warren Sapp. Well, who's Warren Sapp? You can't get another Warren Sapp. Maybe Aaron Donald. I mean, once every 10 years, these guys come around. And, Grady Jarrett, God bless him, he ain't no Warren Sapp. I mean, he's good. But McCoy's a very good player. He's the least of the Buck problems, but he's got no help up front. And at least Sapp ended up, with Simeon Rice at the end, right end, and now you can't double team Sapp anymore. So they got to get a defensive end. They got to get an edge rusher. Free agency, I think, kind of lean. Maybe Ziggy Ansah. I don't see Lawrence leaving the Cowboys, guys. How could the Cowboys let that guy go? He had 14 sacks. So I don't see Dallas letting him. You know, and who's there in the draft? Maybe this. There's a kid out of North Carolina State that's supposed to be good. So we'll see. But they got the number 7 pick. That's the number 1 area. They got to make Matt Ryan, Newton, and Breeze uncomfortable in the pocket. You can't give these guys 5 seconds. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you.
I got one more question for you because my man played in Tampa. One of my good friends is Javon Hay. Do you have a good Javon Hay story you can share with us on the air that's FCC legal?
You know what? That guy turned in some good days as a Buccaneer. He really did. He was a good guy to talk to in the locker room, win or lose. And look, I'm selfish. I'm looking for good stories, and especially after losses, I'm looking for guys that I can talk to. Usually after losses, you go up to a guy and say, let me take a shower first. Then you go to somebody else. By the time you get back to the first guy, you look at his locker, everything's gone. You missed him. He's gone. They don't want to talk to you after a loss. Javon Hay wasn't like that. I found him insightful, smart guy, and you know what? He could play a little bit. So he had a decent Bucs career. What did he also play for? Tennessee, maybe? I can't remember.
Tennessee, Carolina,
I played for
and
Tennessee.
Detroit.
Oh, okay. And you know what? Nice career for him. He should be proud of what he turned in. He hustled, didn't give up on a play. Again, not a Nick Warren Sapp, but who is, guys? Who's going to be Nick Warren Sapp? Oh, man.
You called it. Aaron Donald. That's about it. I don't see nobody else but
Aaron
Donald right now.
That's about it.
Yes, indeed.
By the way, I voted.
You are Tampa-based Hall of Fame
I'll tell you
voter.
one thing.
Yeah.
One more thing. One more point I want to make about defensive end, and this is really ticking off Buck fans because last free agency in March there was a big 6'8" guy, 330 pounds, tremendous guy in the locker room, heck of a player, but he was maybe 32 years old. His name is Calais Campbell, and some of us writers here in Tampa, we were all on the Calais Campbell bandwagon. You got to get this guy. He can play defensive tackle. He can play defensive end. He's a great representative for your franchise. He can teach some of the young guys like Noah Spence how to be a pro. Well, what happens? Jacksonville throws all kinds of money at Calais Campbell, and the Bucs bow out of the free agent sweepstakes. And I just voted Calais Campbell the Defensive Player of the Year because he made everybody around him better, and you just saw him against Buffalo. This guy's a monster. He played right defensive end for the Jags this year. That is the spot. The Bucs don't have anybody. That's the spot where you put your best pass rusher. Who knows what kind of difference, guys, Calais Campbell could make with the Bucs. We'll never know. But it was a big miss, and I think it came down to money. And they ended up taking a guy named Baker, Chris Baker from the Redskins. The guy was a huge disappointment. Guys, sometimes the right free agent can make a huge difference.
You got that right, and they overpaid for Deshaun Jackson. If you ask me, Ira, Calais Campbell, not signing Deshaun Jackson. So if you ask me, he was right for you guys on the offense, so he has a waste of money. He has a pretty much a guaranteed deal. He could be there next year for sure. So, I mean, you should have got Calais Campbell. He could have changed the whole defense for Mike Smith because Mike held that much to work with. Plus, injuries killed him, too.
No, he doesn't. Mike does not have much to work with. People are down on Mike Smith. They're really down on him here. He's a heck of a nice guy. He doesn't excuses. He says all the problems are right here. He's the kind of stand-up guy. Him and Cutter are very tight. A lot of people want Cutter to dump Mike Smith. I mean, they just finished 32nd, I believe, in yards given up. They were the worst team in the league in yards given up. And can you blame Mike Smith for not having a pass rush? He doesn't have the talent. That's on the general manager. He keeps striking out in free agency, right. And Noah Spence can't stay healthy, so you're absolutely right. Now, you make a great point about Deshaun Jackson. Guys, I can't believe I'm telling you this, but I watched every game, and I can't remember one deep ball, not one, that Jameis Winston connected with Deshaun Jackson. Not one. That's impossible. How could that happen?
Neither can Jameis.
And we asked Cutter about it, and you know what Cutter said? Cutter said, don't blame Deshaun Jackson. He was open all the time. Well, then it's on Jameis Winston. First of all, he needs time to throw, for a deep ball. I understand that. But he did throw a lot of balls to Deshaun Jackson, and he couldn't get it there. They were long, they were short, they were wide. He's not a good deep passer right now. He's not. And they're going to have to work on that. I could see, guys, I'm telling you, if a team wanted to make a move for Deshaun Jackson, and I think with the right team he can still be effective, and they wanted to make a trade with the Bucs and made him an offer for a draft pick, and because they had this kid, Chris Godwin, who came on strong from Penn State, rookie. He's going to be good. This kid's going to be good. So I think you make the Bucs an offer for Deshaun Jackson, you might pry him away from Tampa right now.
And help everybody involved. I think he's best known on the Buccaneers roster because I just don't like how Dirk used him. Dirk has created all offensive emphasis in mind, but I just don't. He can lean back on the line wants to. You should tell James Winston, we're going to run him on put him and Mike Evans on a double go route. Who wants to stop that? Nobody.
That's right.
I just saw that happen this year.
And I got to give Jackson credit, by the way. I got to give Jackson credit. He's got a reputation being a diva. I understand that. He kept his mouth shut. He was frustrated. He took it like a man. I got to give Jackson his due. He didn't say anything. He didn't divide the team. He didn't take any pot shots. He manned up. Deshaun Jackson manned up this year. I got to give him credit.
I hear that. Well, you're the man. You're a Tampa-based Hall of Fame voter. You have it down, JoeBugsFan.com. When you come on the show, brother, I'm inspired. You get me and John hyped up, man. We'll do it again real soon around the draft when we see what Tampa's going to do with that 7th pick, man.
Wish me luck in Minneapolis, guys. I'm trying to get John Lynch in the Hall of Fame. I'm 0 for 4, and I don't want to go 0 for 5. So wish me a little luck in Minneapolis, gentlemen.
I sure will, brother. I will do it. We'll definitely do it for you, Ira. Thanks, man.
All right, guys. My pleasure.
All right. Ira Kaufman here on the Bossman Show.
Yeah, it's your man JC, the host with the most, baby, and it goes down each and every Saturday night right here in the city of Memphis. That's right, y'all. It goes down at Clicks Sports Bar Memphis, baby. 3705 Malco Way, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. Come out and join us, the Three Kings, each and every Saturday night for the livest karaoke in the city. Everybody gets in free till 10 p.m. Only $5 after. Great food. We got drink specials. We got all kind of games, man. We got the pool tables popping. Whatever you want, we got you, man. Come on out. Have a good time with us each and every Saturday night. That's Clicks Sports Bar, Memphis.
Folks, we're back on the Bossman Show. This will be a real short segment. A real short segment, John. Because we was just joined by the electrifying Joe Bucks fan, Tampa-based Hall of Fame voter, Ira Kaufman. Man, Ira is amazing, man. This first time Ira been stopped from me stopping my own segment on my own show, John. It was the first time it happened today with Ira.
Dude, he's one of my favorite guests to have on because he's high energy. He's got great stories, and his information is awesome. So not only like his factual information about the teams and the coverage, but his opinions are excellent as well. He a lot of things tend to pan out. So if that's the first time you've heard him, or if you have never been to the site, it's a good site to go visit. And definitely, he knows what he's talking about, man. He's got his finger on the pulse of not only the NFC South but the NFL as a whole. And he's just a great dude, man. He's just a great guest to have on because he's, there's no script when Ira comes on. You just kind of throw it out to him, let him break it down for you, and just play off of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you do. Like, that wasn't what I put on the well, we hit all our points, but it's how we got there. It's always the adventure. It's how you get there with Ira. Ira's great, man. And like, he's so New York, man. He reminds me like the Soprano dudes. He's so New York. Like, guys, gentlemen. I'm just gonna tell you.
He's got that classic accent and dialect, right? It's just like you can't do that impersonation because it's so on point. Like, you can't even do it, man.
Nah, you can't. I'm good at impersonation. Y'all learn it. I can do some good impersonations of people, but I can't get Ira down. I'll have to work with him a long time, man. And then also, Coach, this first hour, we had Coach Mack on the show. Coach Mack was, like, amazing. Like, John, he speaks what I speak. He speaks at a higher level to me with football. It's like, when I hear him talk about 4-man space and inside zones, outside zones, 3x1s, 2x2s, 10 personnel, like, that stuff I know about because I play football, but where he talks about it at high level, man, it's so amazing.
Yeah, and he breaks it down, like, even though it's high level, and it's kind of like it would be advanced, football for the casual fan. Those terms, they tend to tune out. But when he brings it, he's kind of got a way of making it easier to understand to a layperson. So I think that's what's appealing to Coach when he breaks it down like that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He might could have helped y'all Browns this year, John, but who knows? He didn't want that curse.
I mean, he's good, but I don't know if he's that good. I'm not even sure if Vince Lombardi coming back from the dead would help the Browns. I mean, geez, that's just a train wreck, bro. A train wreck. And listen, when they had that parade, I'm sure everybody saw that on the news somewhere. They had the 0-16 parade.
Yeah.
Dude, it was cold as hell out there. Those people went out there regardless. Like, I'm talking like 30 below zero wind chills, right on the lake. Those dudes were not messing around, man. They were having that 0-16 parade regardless.
Those some tough dudes in Cleveland, and I tell you what, folks, guys, enjoy this first hour. Hour 2 going to be even more amazing. I guarantee you. This is JR. This is John here on the Bossman Show, Bossman Radio Network. It's supposed to be a real short segment. This short segment is over. Talk to you after the break.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, True Speech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. True Speech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.